Assuming LeBron does play tonight, what do you want to see from him against the Knicks?
You know what? I just want to see if he's healthy. And that means I want to see his athleticism, his explosiveness, his ability to get up and down the floor. If he shows us, Greeny, that he's somewhat close to LeBron James of old, the rest of the Western Conference better watch the hell out. Because I'm looking at this Western Conference, and they're not where they're supposed to be, okay? Some of these teams are very sketchy. You should be playing some of your best basketball right now, peaking at the right now when it matters the most going into the postseason. And I'm looking at these top dogs right now, and none of them put fear in my eyes to show me that they could beat the Lakers in a 7-game series if LeBron James is 75% healthy.
Well, let's talk about that percentage. Windy, you have covered LeBron James for literally his entire basketball life. As far as his injury history, where does this fit in?
This is the most severe injury he's had since he was 16 years old, got undercut in an AAU game and broke his wrist. And, this is not an injury he's ever dealt with before. And when you watched him, when he came back for that game and a half a couple of weeks ago, he ran around okay. But when it came time for him to use that right leg as an anchor to push off of it, it was like a flat tire. He did not have explosion. And you know that his greatest, the thing he can do on offense is get players out of position and use his size and leverage, and he wasn't able to do that. So that's what I'm going to watch tonight and the rest of the week. And I agree with Perk. If the Lakers are playing elite defense and LeBron and AD are healthy, I don't care what their seed is. But I got to tell you, look at the way this bracket is shaping up. They could have to play Steph Curry in a one-off game. They're better than the Warriors, but in a one-off game against Steph, that's worrisome. Then be on the same side of the bracket as the Suns and the Clippers just to get to maybe the conference finals against the Jazz. It's a very big ask if LeBron isn't firing on really close to all cylinders. And that's why I would say that the most important thing in this NBA postseason is the health of that leg.
Of LeBron James. I think that's clear, and I think everyone would agree with it. Let me come back to you on that thought, though, Perk, because you touched on it, but let's get as definitive as we can. If LeBron is pretty close to healthy, you put 75% as the number, we'll live with that. Are they the favorites in the Western Conference to you, regardless of the way the bracket falls?
Absolutely, Greeny. And if you would have asked me this a week ago, I would have told you hell no. But now, no, watching this Anthony Davis and watching the Western Conference, I look at the Phoenix Suns, and the Phoenix Suns, after playing the Lakers the other night, they want to stay as far away from the Los Angeles Lakers as possible. I'm looking at the Clippers. The Clippers are having their own struggles right now. Guys are coming in off of injury. Kawhi Leonard is not 100%. They're not playing great basketball. You look at the Denver Nuggets, right? You have Big Jokic, but Aaron Gordon is not battle-tested. They have a rookie starting at the PG at the point guard position. And the Utah Jazz, although they have been playing well recently, they still been without their two all-stars, Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley. They still have to find their rhythm. The Mavericks don't really scare me like that. The Trailblazers been up and down. So the Lakers still are really in good shape. And you still have two of the best players in the league on your team. And when I say two of the best, I'm talking about an Anthony Davis that's putting up Wilt Chamberlain, Shaq type numbers. So I have no concern if LeBron James comes back tonight, which I think he will. Because Anthony Davis said it. Oh, Ron, I've seen LeBron James at practice. I'm telling you, he'll be just fine. That was what Anthony Davis said. And I believe it. And Wendy, you should too. You know LeBron James. You know a guy that invests $2 million into his body, what he's capable of doing. One thing I've learned is to never doubt the greatest player of all time.
And tonight he might be playing the hottest team in the NBA in the Knicks. So that's an interesting little game. All right, let me shift to something else here, Wendy, because you were the one on my radio show yesterday who really got me thinking about this. Russell Westbrook last night set the all-time NBA record for most triple-doubles in a career. And Russell is the most confounding player to try and put into any sort of historical perspective. So Wendy is one who chronicles the game as well as anyone. How do you do it?
Well, this will be what he is known for the rest of his life. He will be Mr. Triple-Double. When he is introduced and honored when he's 60 years old, he will be introduced at those banquets as Mr. Triple-Double. He has had some great teammates. He has played alongside scoring champions. Bradley Beal might come up a little short, but he would win the scoring championship in most years. He's had incredible highlights. The way he plays is sometimes difficult for teammates. He's been up and down there, but this is going to brand him. And, it wasn't like we needed him to get this record for us to understand how he contributes across the board. But what I will say is this. When he played for the Thunder, I do feel at times he was chasing the triple-double. His teammates would sometimes move out of the way so he could get enough rebounds. Over the last couple of years, that hasn't been the case. This season, when you watch him play, he's playing to win. He's not chasing those triple-doubles, and not all triple-doubles are created equal. And what he's done these last couple of months has been some of the most impressive play in his career, in my view.
And so, Big Perk, let me come to you. When I ask you, how do you quantify the greatness of Russell Westbrook? How do you do it?
He has cemented himself, Greeny. He is in his own lane. And I think when you think about a triple-double, you have to think about a mindset. You have to think about this Mamba mentality that you have to have night in and night out to come in and dominate as being one of the best scorers on the floor, coming in and dominating as being one of the best rebounders, being one of the best facilitators. When it's all said and done, Russell Westbrook, in my eyes, is number 5 when it comes down to ranking all-time point guards to ever play this game. And you just gotta appreciate what he's done for the game of basketball. The way he approaches it every single night is beyond special. And I don't know. No, you know what? I do know. We would never, ever, ever see another Russell Westbrook. Hey, look, Greeny, Oscar Robertson set this milestone 54 years ago. You were 1 year old. You were one. You were one. So you've seen a lot of basketball. And in those years, Greeny, you are one of the legends in this game. And you cannot sit up here and tell me that you saw a lot of basketball and say somebody's going to break Oscar Robertson record. Like you wouldn't have thought of that.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.